And welcome back to Stanny Boy Reviews. I'm your host, Stanley. Thank you so much for taking the time to check out my channel and to talk about your favorite horror films and oh my god, my Furbo said that there's a barking alert. Can I just throw it out there, you guys, that it is freezing in my apartment. Like, it is ice cold, sub-zero temperatures. My gas heater is in the process of being replaced. Because of that, I have been at death's door for what feels like days. So while it is sun shining in Los Angeles right now, I am in the midst of winter. Luckily, I have a nice collection of space heaters, thanks to some people I know. So I'm not exactly dead yet, but I'm getting there. Hopefully this gets fixed soon and I have heat and I don't die. Anyway, as promised, I am going to be talking about the Stephen King / John Carpenter classic, Christine. So go grab your oldies mix and your favorite can of clear coat and your stick shift and all the other car references I can't think of off the top of my head. In my case, let's bundle the f up and have a seat and let's cruise down to the junkyard, baby. Vroom. First off, I'd like to give a shout out to my very, very dear friend Bill for introducing me to this beautiful film. I'm just gonna let everyone know now, I really liked this movie. I had never seen it, surprisingly, and I have no idea how it went under my radar for so long. It was just one of those movies that I would pass in the Blockbuster video store. I would pick up the VHS cover, flip it over, and just put back. I never wanted to watch a movie about a killer car. And shame on me. Thank you, Bill. Thank you so much for showing me this movie. A lot of you might already know that Christine is based off of a book by Stephen King, the master of horror. I love Stephen King. Everybody knows that Pet Sematary is my favorite Stephen King book and my favorite horror film of all time. Go watch the review. The link is right here. Go watch it. The movie, my review, go read the book. Go read anything by Stephen King. I haven't read this book. There's an airplane. Always. Never fails. Anyways, after producing the miniseries Salem's Lot, also another Stephen King book, Richard Kobritz purchased the rights to Christine, buying it solely because he was attracted to the way that the novel celebrated America's obsession with the motor car. There goes this plane again. What is happening? This plane's gonna crash into my apartment building. Kobritz originally wanted Carpenter to direct this movie, but Carpenter was already attached to another Stephen King bestseller, Firestarter. But plans for that fell through, and he ended up doing Christine instead. Something Carpenter was not terribly excited about, but he felt that he had to do it because his career was not where he wanted it to be. The Thing, which had released the year prior, did not perform terribly well at the box office, and basically he was just in need of a good job. Casting-wise, the studios wanted Brooke Shields and Scott Baio for the lead roles, and Kevin Bacon even auditioned. They ended up going with a slew of unknowns, including theater actor Keith Gordon, who would play Arnie, John Stockwell, who would play best friend Dennis, and future Baywatch babe Alexandra Paul, who would play the new girl, Lee. Filming began just days after the book itself was published, on location in Los Angeles and Santa Clarita, California. The infamous car written in the book was a 1958 Plymouth Fury, but Belvedere and Savoy models were used instead because the Fury model was too expensive to acquire. 23 cars total were used during filming. Most of them sold for scrap metal afterward, although one of the best survivors was rescued, restored, and sold for auction in Florida around 2020. So I think we should just get into it. Christine is about a young, nerdy outcast named Arnie.
I just got my license.
He only has one friend, and that would be popular cutie Dennis. Arnie is picked on often. He doesn't have any other friends. His parents are kind of mean to him. He doesn't really have a lot going for him except the fact that he's just very smart. He's one of those kids. Doesn't have a car. One day, he comes across a piece of shit car sitting in someone's yard, and it's love at first sight. He knows nothing about this car except
Her name's Christine.
and that he has to have her. It doesn't take long before Arnie's life starts to change dramatically. He gets the new girl, Lee, hanging on his arm. Pretty soon they're an item. And soon he doesn't have time for his best friend Dennis anymore. His entire life starts to revolve solely around Christine. And it doesn't take everyone around him long to notice that the new Arnie has happened because of the time that he has been spending with Christine, especially when bodies start dropping. Now, could this be growing pains, or could it be something more sinister at work? Now, I will tell you, I've never had a first car love. I mean, I had a first car. I had a 1984 Chevy Cavalier, but she didn't move. She just sat in my mom's driveway. She didn't even turn on. I had a first car that I bought off a friend for like $200, but I didn't know that cars required oil changes, so that car didn't last me very long. I never had a Christine. I wasn't able to relate to Arnie in that sense, but I know people who did. I know people who had first cars that loved their first cars so much. Like my friend Bill, he had a Christine. You know, I feel like that this was a King property that I should have read first. But regardless, I really enjoyed what I saw. I know I already said that. I think that reading this first might have helped me relate more so to Arnie and his love for Christine. But either way, Keith Gordon's performance here was so good. I really felt for Arnie so much, from his first introduction to his final frame on screen. Just what a great performance. And I really believed his chemistry with Dennis. I believed their friendship 100%. I got a lot of Carrie vibes in this movie, which is another Stephen King novel and film respectively, obviously. And also, the effects in this movie were outstanding. And there weren't a lot of effects in this movie per se, but the minimal effects that happened were so well done. For instance, it was mind-blowing to watch Christine completely rebuild herself after being smashed to pieces. Carpenter and cinematographer Don Morgan really captured eerie, unsettling sequences throughout, with a daunting task of making an automobile a villain and a character simultaneously. And they did a really terrific job. John Carpenter and Alan Howarth did the music for this film, and they had worked together previously on 2 different Halloween films, and they would work together down the line on They Live. And the music here is definitely a highlight, which is usually the case for John Carpenter movies in general. And man, the music here is just so good. Outside of the oldie bops that they use throughout the entire film, there is one scene in particular, the Show Me scene, which if you know, you know, that just works so well. And the music there is just incredible. I need to find this on vinyl. Whew. One thing I want to say about John Carpenter at this point in his career, you could tell he had really grown into his own as a director. He'd only done like 5 or 6 movies, I think, but Christine felt like a whole new car garage. And I don't know if that even makes any sense or if I even know what I'm talking about. There was a certain type of confidence that he was displaying with this film, a type of stability behind the camera that I hadn't seen since Halloween, which was only his 3rd film. There was something different about Christine. This movie is really perfect from beginning to end. It's so cohesive. I kind of have a hard time categorizing it as a horror film. A lot of the time I was just kind of sad. It was just kind of a sad movie about friendship and growing up and family drama, and then you throw in a killer possessed car along the way. That didn't take away anything for me. It still was a very good movie, and the character development was so on point, and the music was perfect, and the direction was phenomenal. On Stanny Stab-O-Meter, I'm gonna give this movie 5 stabs because it deserves it. I give that to Stephen King and I give that to John Carpenter. Like, what a perfect combination. I'm surprised that these two haven't worked together since. Christine is cold, like my apartment. Ooh, but in a better, more wintry type of way. It makes for a really good November viewing experience. I'm very grateful for Bill for having me watch this movie. I think I probably would have done it eventually. I don't know when it would have happened. So thanks, Bill. So what do you guys say? Have you seen Christine? If you haven't, watch it. If you have, let me know what you think in the comments. And you guys, I'm on social media. Follow me on Instagram, follow me on Twitter, and follow me on TikTok. And if you haven't, you guys, please subscribe. It says I'm barking again. And now I have garbage trucks running up and down my street. So this is a good time to wrap everything up. So you guys, have a really good week. I'll be back next week with another review. I will see you soon. Bye.